Yes, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. Good to see Steve and Matt here. As I say, we've had a bit of a afternoon together, actually, but we'll share more of that tonight. But if you're watching there, let us know. Let us know that we're actually kind of live streaming properly because we haven't got a clue. But yeah, let us know where you're watching from. Doesn't have to be in Essex. Obviously, Big County Birdwatch is something that we do here and have done annually now. This is our third year in Essex in the United Kingdom, where we count as many different bird species over the weekend, Friday through to Monday. And we've been out and about today, as I know many others have. But yeah, get your messages in, what you've been seeing. Some of you have already sent pictures through to the email address. But how do people get in touch with us tonight, guys? What's the best way?
Yeah, so people can send in an email if they want to. You can email ebwstalks@gmail.com, or you can use the YouTube chat, which is hopefully working. It seems to be, and I think Tim Hayward has said, yes, we're on. And Jamie Thornton said hello. So hello, Jamie. How you doing? So you can use the chat on YouTube as well. Just log in via a Google account, and then you can ask us questions. And I think, Steve G, you're monitoring Facebook, aren't you?
Yep. So you can also send us messages via Facebook Messenger on the Essex Birdwatching Society website, Facebook page. Sorry. Yeah.
Excellent.
Start again.
Can I just apologise for that beginning? If that was all over the place, I think what happened, as soon as I hit the stream, it opened YouTube in the background without me realising. So I was desperately searching my tabs because I knew I wasn't open on YouTube. It opened it in another window. So apologies about that. I don't know how that happened. Sorry.
Don't worry, Matt. To say it's all part of the fun. We're
we can
just
edit
having
out
a go
later,
here.
To be fair, we've got 3 more nights of this, so we should have it sussed by Monday.
What we're doing, yeah.
Let's hope so. But yeah, please kind of feedback and let us know where you've been, if you're getting involved, or what you're seeing in your particular area. We've had some interesting sightings already, but we'll get to them more. But what would be good is to introduce Andrew. Andrew Decat. Have we done sharing photos? We haven't we? So there.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, I think, the first thing we need to do is just remind people, if you want to send in your pictures, because obviously BCBW started today, as you can tell, because we haven't got a clue what we're doing, and we've been out all day, but we realise that obviously a lot of people are going to have been at work today, maybe. So hopefully the weekend is when most people can get out and about. So if you're going to go out tomorrow, please send in your pictures. It doesn't have to be like stupendous pictures of amazing birds. It could be a picture of anything bird related. It could be a feeder in the garden. It could be a picture of the patch that you like to visit. Of course, it can be bird pictures. We love to see all those things. And you can email those to the same email address, ebwstalks@gmail.com. And again, you can share them with us via Twitter or Facebook. So any of those platforms, please send in your photos, little video clips, because really this is all about you guys. We want to share your stuff with everyone else.
Yeah, spot on. And particularly,
where have we been today, though, guys?
Well, I said, Matt, while you were having your little kind of techie goings on there, that, we've had an afternoon together because we met up at Old Hall Marshes today with a few other people as well. And not planned, just kind of bumped into people. It seemed that was a place to be today. Jamie Thornton, Pete Warland were there, and Dave Smith as well was there. And then some other people, I didn't know the names. I recognised
Colin Underhill was there.
Yeah, Colin Underhill,
yeah.
Chris Davis. Lovely to see them this afternoon.
So it was great to see people, yeah. And then I bumped into Dave Curl, because I went to Blue Ass Farm. But yeah, I'll share more of my day later. But let's get Andrew in, and so people can know how to share their records and their data on the new website. We hope you've seen that. So,
Andrew Ducat is our web designer, so he's responsible for the new website. He's also behind the new sheet to report your BCBW sightings. So Andrew can hopefully explain to us how that all works.
Welcome, Andrew.
Hi there.
Hi, Andrew.
So let me share my screen. Oh, I can't share my screen.
Hold on.
I have to
Just
enable
pop you out.
that.
I'll just enable you to share your screen. There we go. And you should be able to share now.
I wish he'd share his computer as well. He's got a nice one.
Can you see that?
Yeah, we've got.
We
we've got totals, have we?
Yeah. So if you the ebws.org.uk/bcbw/dashboard will just give you a summary, and it's good to see that people are already entering their sightings. So that's fantastic. We've got 24 entries so far and 114 species recorded today. Hopefully that number will grow over the weekend.
That is the best yet, kind of from my recollection of past years. Best number of entries. And
right here you can see, I mean, this is basically the number of species that have been seen by different observers. So obviously the target for a lot of people is to get to 100 plus, but no one's there yet, unless they haven't recorded their sightings, that is. And you can see this chart really is just showing you the locations. I'm guessing that location must be Abberton or something like that. If it's got 100 species, but
wow,
not quite sure what that is. But anyway, there are various reports that you can look at. I mean, one of them that you might find interesting is the checklist, which is the 100 and however many 14 species here recorded, and you can see who's seen them and where they've been seen. So if there's anything on your list, let's say, I don't know, the pectoral,
like a red-breasted goose, for instance,
right? You can see where the pectoral sandpiper has been seen. Obviously, peck includes woodpeckers and things like that, but there you go.
Very good.
I mean, I think they've been seen elsewhere, but obviously this is only recording what people have put on. I think one thing to say is that if you are used to putting your sightings on the website, then that's fantastic. You don't actually need to do anything differently, because all the sightings that you put in the normal manner over the course of the weekend will get added to these automatically to these tallies. But for anyone who doesn't have an account, doesn't want an account, and wants to know how to put their sightings, it's very simple. If you go back to the home page, there's a BCBW record button that takes you straight to entering a sightings. And I'll just quickly run through this. I'm not going to put all the sightings that I put on, but for example, I went to Blue House Farm today, like a lot of people. If the location doesn't come up on here, you can put a postcode in. So by all means, you know, put other things in, but it is either one of the listed locations or a postcode. So if possible, you could find the postcode for it. That would be great. Obviously, the date is today. I went about 14 to 4. And then you have a checklist here. So I think so it's really entirely up to you whether you decide you want to count numbers or just treat this as a tick list. I'm probably going to treat this as a tick list. So some of the things that I saw today, for example, was the pectoral sandpiper. You can just tick it. I find it easier just to search for the birds in the checklist, but obviously you can go through and check whichever ones you want. But obviously we could be here all day, me putting my sightings. But if, for example, I was to put just these 2 sightings in, then I can go down to the bottom. I can put other comments here. So if there's anything that you see that you can't find in the tick list, you can add it there, and we'll get that sorted. Up until about half an hour ago, Chaffinch wasn't on there, so we got that sorted pretty quick. So there may well be some common species that aren't on that tick list, which is entirely my fault, but just let us know. And then the next thing, obviously, you need a name. I'm going to put my postcode in there, and an email address. Sorry, I think the address is anything that's not got an asterisk against it is optional. So I put my email address, and obviously you can put in make as many entries of these as you like, and it'll all get collected together. But the important thing is you use the same email address. So if you don't, then your tallies won't match your actual record. So you can call yourself different name each time or whatever, which will be nice and confusing. But please keep the email address the same, so we've got something to aggregate them by at the end.
Yeah.
So here you can see my 2 sightings. You can just confirm that that was correct. And then you get a very noddy question here, which seems to answer for me. I should probably auto-complete or something like that. But that's really just to prevent any computer rogue programs trying to submit sightings that aren't human. So it's really just testing that you're a human being. Hopefully that's not too challenging. Ooh,
I think you got it wrong.
It's birds, I think.
Yeah, that's called me out.
This one's
Now it's epic.
yeah,
Right.
I'm pleased it's not just us having a little wobble. I'm pleased the webmasters also kind of join in the club tonight.
Yeah.
We're all human.
So there we go. It's done.
You got it.
Right. Now, if I go back to the dashboard, you'll see here is a pending review. So if you do submit your sightings this way, because you're kind of like an anonymous user that's not logged in, your sightings then sort of go into a review, a pending area, and then someone will check them just to make sure you're not, you're not being taking the mick or whatever, and putting something in there. But then those will get reviewed and.
Was it guinea fowl we had a year or 2 ago? Was it?
Yeah, it's legit
we've
though.
had some very strange things.
There are some around. Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, by all means, keep an eye on this page to see what's being seen. I don't know if you guys got any questions.
Excellent. But the only observation I'd put in, just to remind people that obviously it's for the site that you're at. You put the records. So if you visit multiple sites, say you went to 3 different places, you will have to do 3 different sets of records. You can't kind of change the venue for that particular species and do the full list like that way. But it's just the way the kind of process works. No, that's great, and fantastic options. Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, just a quick on David Smith. They said, well done to Andrew. Logging system is working well.
Thanks, David. Thanks for letting us know. It's really appreciated.
If it goes without hitch, it'll be the first time in 3 attempts.
I'm sure it will.
Well, I can see the evolution of it. Kind of, it's a lot more refined and useful. And so, if you are looking for particular species, maybe you're starting out and there's some birds that you haven't seen. Not that you're after 100 and whatever in the weekend, but there's just stuff that's you've not seen, you're interested in, and you can find them from that checklist as well, or new locations you want to go. What might you see somewhere? It's a fantastic tool for that kind of thing, as well as and again, if you are a regular Essex birder and stuff like that, and haven't subscribed yet to the website, please do. It doesn't cost anything, and mine, I just click on the website, it has my details all there ready to go, and it's painless. So why not? Good.
Excellent.
Thanks, Andrew. So how was your time at Blue House Farm?
It was good. I mean, the car park was full, so I had to park somewhere else. So if you're going there for the Pectoral Sandpiper, then get there early, I guess. Otherwise you might be parking up the road. But it was the tide was in, so really the first tide is the best place to park yourself. See most of the species. I mean, I did see, you saw my dodgy photo earlier, a ring ouzel. Well, but
nice.
Have you got it? You haven't got it on the computer.
Have you got it on your? Have you got it on your camera?
I've got it on my camera.
Let's do a back of camera shot.
No, I'm not
Come
doing that.
on, come on, put it out there. We think it's a ring ouzel.
Yeah.
can anybody have we missed something? Anybody been to Blue House Farm and seen this particular bird? But Andrew, just literally minutes prior to the program going live, he said, I saw this kind of bird this afternoon. He's kind of showing us, like literally as you're going to see, the back of the camera. And I don't think it's a ring ouzel, but I don't know. He said, because Steve and I, are we there?
Yeah, I think that looks pretty darn good to me, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's very interesting, isn't it?
No,
When I first saw it,
It's
I
got
thought
long wings,
starling.
not starling. Yeah, do you know what? Is it not starling?
Is there a leucistic starling out
I
there?
think it might be.
Let's have a look.
Oh, it's
Let me just see.
on the, I don't know now.
We'll have to get the picture up tomorrow night. We'll
Yeah.
see kind of live from the camp. But tonight, what do you think? Anybody seen a ring ouzel? It's the time of year they start moving through. And
Can we have another look?
Well, it's a very blurry. That's another
Oh,
Johnny.
oh,
nothing there.
gone.
typical.
Yeah.
There's a lot of white on there.
And again, the white is particularly around the collar where it should be, but whether it's
It looks
lower
like-
down as well, I don't know a bit too much.
It looks like it's got long wings because ring ouzels have those quite long wings, don't they? That kind of droop down a bit like a fieldfare almost.
Yeah.
It does look like it's got that. So
Good. Well, we'll if anybody's seen that bird at Blue House Farm, Dave Curl, if you're watching, it's good to see you. Sorry, didn't give me enough money for my autograph. He was pulling my leg about being on YouTube.
That's a better photo of it.
the
Strange.
head, the bill looks a bit styling. I don't know. It's tricky.
It could be the angle, doesn't it? If a bird sits at a particular angle, it can shorten the bill.
Ollie has said styling ? In the chat. So
Yeah, I think it probably is a starling.
no, yeah,
Good.
interesting.
Good. So where did well, two of us have been to Blue House Farm today, haven't we? Kind of three of us, yeah, with Andrew. What did you do today, Steve?
So randomly, I left home at 4:45 this morning, just because I thought it was a good idea, and I thought I'd try looking for some owls. So I managed to get little owl and tawny owl within the first half an hour or so, and then I thought, I'd like to see barn owl. So hence I was at Blue House Farm at 6:15 this morning in the dark, and failed miserably.
Oh,
As we've said tonight, there was 2 pectoral sandpipers there on the scrape, which was really nice, and just barnacle geese and a few waders and raptors and stuff. So that was quite nice. And then where did I go? Then I went to Old Hall, where obviously I met you two.
Yeah.
And
we had a good time. We'll share that later, shall we? The Old Hall
lovely afternoon there. So
story. Because for me, I started off a little bit later, about 8:30. We rolled out and had a chat with Andrew on the phone and just made sure he was going to be able to come on tonight and sort out some of the business I should have done 2 or 3 days ago, but had a hectic week this week. So we kind of left it a little bit later, but we found ourselves at Pitsea, dropped down to Wat Tyler, and we're going to do Vange Marshes, where we know there's a few spotted redshank, a few of the rarer waders. But I thought I'd give Steve a call because we'd planned to maybe get together at Old Marshes and find out what time we're getting together. And he told me he's looking at 2 pectoral sandpipers at Blue House Farm, which is on our way. So that's how we ended up running by Blue House Farm on the way to Old Hall. What about you, Matt? Where did you kick off before Old Hall?
Yeah, I was up for me relatively early, about 6 o'clock, and got out the house about 25 past and went round the corner to my local patch, Ardley Reservoir. And I had a reasonable number of species for Ardley. It's not the most buzzing place in the world for birds, but I got the target things that I was after. I had 3 kingfishers, a couple of green sandpipers. On the way back to the car, I found a section of hedgerow I'd never watched, to be fair. So there was a tit flock working their way through. And I had Goldcrest, a couple of black caps, and I was really pleased to have a coal tit because I've never had one there before. So yeah, that was nice. And then obviously from there, I stopped briefly at Abberton on the Lower Breton Causeway, and picked up a few bits and bobs there, and then obviously met you guys at Old Hall.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Good. Well, anything else, Andrew, tonight you want to share? Or I know we're going to seeing you back tomorrow night?
No, I don't think so.
Good. Well, thanks for that.
Right.
If anybody's got any questions, they can contact you via the website. What's the email address? Do you remember, Andrew?
admin@ebws.org.uk.
Cool. That's great. And we will see you tomorrow night.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thanks,
Thanks,
much,
Andrew.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Good. So, let's remind people, anybody who's joining late, how they can get in touch, guys. Welcome if you've just joined the Big County Birdwatch. First night, day one, Friday night. We've made it. We've actually got things going. We're a little bit of a shaky start, but we're kind of getting back into the rhythm, guys, eh?
Yeah. So once again, people are talking on the chat, so keep that going, please. And obviously emails, I'm going to be checking emails, ebwstalks@gmail.com. And I think Steve's on Twitter and Facebook. So again, any messages that you want to send us via those platforms, please send them in to us. And again, you can share your pictures. Not expecting loads of pictures, although we have had some today. But hopefully we'll get loads and loads of pictures from you all tomorrow. So get your cameras clicking and send them in, please.
Yeah.
So I've had a message from Ben and Michael Rumsby. They say hi, and they went to Rainham today and Coalhouse Fort. So your neck of the woods, Steve.
Yeah.
83 species today.
Wow.
Wow, that's good.
It's pretty outstanding.
Well, that's after school as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very good.
It'd be on to three figures if he had to spend the whole day out, you know. So
Yeah. Really good.
best bird was finding a peck sand at Rainham. So another one in the party, which is good, which was on the target pools, and also you had cattle egret and great egret there.
I can share that picture. Can you see that Caspian Gull?
Yeah, you can see I've got your spreadsheet on there as well, I think. If you make your screen bigger.
Wait, I've got the program, man. I might have shared the wrong screen.
I think you can just share the picture normally.
Let me see where it is. I might need to open it.
So also, while you're there, he had little owl, barn owl, and then lots of waders at Coalhouse Fort. So
excellent. Well done,
Well
Ben.
done, Ben.
Good work.
Well done, Ben. Good. Try and get your shot of the Caspian Gull up
Yeah.
in a minute.
So talking of photos, we were going to run through a few of the pictures that we've taken today. So I don't know if do you want to start with that, Steve G? You got yours loaded and ready to go?
while we're doing that, I've just got to work out what I'm doing as well. So
and then we'll share some pictures. We've had some pictures in from Dave Smith. Had a picture in from Jane Noble, and we've had something in from Paul Brayshaw as well.
That's a lovely
so that's
night.
really good.
yeah, well, when I left home at 5 o'clock this morning, it was thick fog. And then when I got to Blue House, it was pretty murky grey light. So not the best photograph of the snipe, but this was one right in front of the hide, which was feeding away. So that was quite a nice one to see. I don't think these are in any particular order, actually, these pictures.
Mhm.
But, a nice juvenile Marsh Harrier at Old Hall Marshes today.
Oh, good.
With nice blue sky, and the weather was amazing today.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a dodgy record shot of the peck sand. This is one of the juveniles. I've got a funny feeling the other bird might be an adult, but
Okay.
quite dull looking, the other one.
You can clearly see the sort of V on the breastband there, can't you? Or the start of it, anyway.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, and at times they came reasonably close to the hide. Just a shame the light wasn't a bit better.
Yeah.
Then there's the most awful shot of both of them in flight.
That is great. It changed by the time we got there.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was completely grey and murky. But I'm
Difference
wondering,
in size there, isn't there?
yeah, there's definitely a size difference. I've got some video. You can see the size difference. I assume the male's bigger than the female. I assume, like rough and.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, let us know.
Mm.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
So a couple of pecks in flight, and there's our lovely red-breasted goose. Just put in the word of unknown origin.
I'm going to tick it.
Because that was amazing, that wasn't it? This flock of a couple of Brent geese were kicking around, and they flew in, and then shortly after, suddenly we saw this Brent goose, but we should probably say that kind of between the Brent geese and the red-breasted goose, there was about several hundred greylag geese all arrived, and it was flying 3 from point. In fact, actually, I spotted this small goose, and Steve said, "What's that smaller goose there?" And oh, it was a Brent, because it looked dark. It was coming kind of out of the light, and then when it kind of really got down and landed, that's when we. Was it you, Matt, kind of shouted red-breasted goose?
I think we all shouted it at the same time, didn't we?
You suddenly realised. Yeah.
It looks like a young bird, I think. So you
Well,
never know. Might be white.
As you know, I've not been birding for many years, so I've never seen a red-breasted goose. So I don't care where it's from. That's gonna be a little personal tick for me. That's
Because
fine.
Ben asked the question. I knew, Ben was kind of WhatsApping me last night, and Ben's target is 125 this year, so he's really going to go for it, and already made a very, very good start. Finding the Pectoral Sandpiper, I should say the full name for those that don't know the abbreviations, but Pectoral Sandpiper, actually an American bird, or actually from Asia as well, so they don't usually come through here, but no doubt with winds either from the States. Would they be from the States, these birds, Steve, or the Asian birds? Because look at east weather when they started to pop up.
Yeah, there's a Siberian population, and then there's obviously the North American. So
Yeah.
I think I was reading tonight on Twitter, I think that there's at least 48, I think,
Wow.
Texans
In
in
the
Britain.
country.
And I think the highest count together is 5 birds.
Yeah.
I think that's in Ireland, so they're likely to be American birds, I would think.
So yeah, going back to Ben, he sent me a message and a little picture of Pectoral Sandpiper that he'd seen, and we were just watching this. I was going to send him a picture. It came in. What would it have been about? I don't know, 2:30, 3 o'clock or something when we saw it first.
Yeah.
And so I was so tempted to send, because these are quite, they're very rare birds to see real wild ones. The question is whether this is a domesticated bird that's from a collection or something, which it almost most likely is, that's been released. Because in the upper echelons of birding, there's kind of a judgment type based system of whether a bird is truly wild or not. For some of us at the lesser levels, doesn't really matter. We like seeing them. But yeah, I was so tempted to send you a picture of this, Ben, and say, how's school going on? But I think you've done pretty well already. So we don't know. And he asked the question, is it a genuine one, wild one, or you think not, Steve? Come on.
To be fair, I think there's one up in Lincolnshire at the moment that came in with the Brent geese. I think had this been with like all Brent geese, then
yeah,
it might have been a slightly different story. But who knows? I mean, it didn't have any obvious rings on it, I don't think.
No.
I didn't see any. I've not checked my photos all the way through, but it's you just don't know. But a cracking bird to see.
Yeah.
And then a bit of a Brucey bonus today was this most awful shot, short-eared owl, which was at Old Hall this afternoon with a Marsh Harrier.
And really high up.
Yeah, it was super high.
That kind of flat but spiraled up on a thermal with was it a Marsh Harrier, a buzzard below it?
Marsh Harrier,
yeah.
So that was nice.
Yeah.
And then, a few waders, Bartel Godwin.
Bartel Godwin. Nice.
And then I got this evening. This was put on Facebook tonight. A guy was querying the identification and taken in Ongar in Essex. Now, I assume it was taken today, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's a juvenile honey buzzard. So if anybody's in the Ongar area, and I mean, I don't know where this was taken, but, might be worth keeping an eye out for.
Yeah. And Carl Price is on Twitter and social media quite a bit. So if you follow him, he was the one who forwarded the picture, didn't he? So maybe you may know more.
It's kind of the right time of the year for them to be coming through, isn't it, Steve?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, migrating out, aren't they?
Yeah. So that's interesting. And I think that's probably it for me. So
excellent.
Let me try and see if I can share the Caspian Gull again from. It's not really wanting to do that. That's interesting.
We'll have it all sorted by tomorrow.
Yeah, it seems to be locked.
We won't go out birding tomorrow. We'll spend our day honing
Hang on,
out.
there it is. There it is. How's that? Have you got it now?
That's better. Yay!
There we go. So, you know, obviously lots of these bird schools, particularly a distant shot, so you never get the best image, but Caspian Gull, which again is quite a difficult gull for beginners to identify, because particularly immature first calendar year bird would that be, but it's all about the head and the eye and the beak, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, and some the wing markings. I mean, obviously you can't see them
I
there.
see them on there.
Yeah, and I think there was one at Abberton tonight as well for its second day. Was that right, Matt?
Yeah, Sean Nixon reported that the Abberton bird popped in at, I think it was around about 5:30ish, something like that.
What time?
Into the same bit of Flair Breton. So I did stop on the way through, and to be fair, wasn't sure. I met up with Glenn Moore, and he spotted a bird that looked pretty good in terms of the shape, and that had quite a long looking bill. But looking at the pictures again, and I showed Sean the pictures as well, and yourself, Steve, and I think we're all sort of the opinion it's probably a great black-back gull young bird. But at the time, it did look quite good, and there was nothing really to gauge it against. But yeah, Sean had the Caspian again tonight, so something to look out for anyone going to Abberton tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. And if you're going for the big numbers, then obviously you need to try and pick off a couple of these perhaps more difficult species. For me, there's the red-breasted gull on the land.
Red-breasted gull?
Sorry, red-breasted gull, red-breasted goose. It's been a long day. And that's the picture that was sent to me by Ben, the Pectoral Sandpiper, which he found at HURRAH.
Very nice.
Good. And then I need to just say Nick Lay he's joining Big County Birdwatch. Nick is good East Tilbury wildlife guy, friend of mine, and he had a wind chat at Coalhouse Fort and a distant short-eared owl as well.
Okay.
Nice. Excellent.
Interesting.
Well, I've got a couple of pictures I took today, not many, so won't take long. First one, hardly this morning. I managed to get it a bit more in focus than my last effort. So nice kingfisher male, I think it looks like. Nice kingfisher. Quite pleased to see that. And then this is just more of a record shot than anything else because they were running away from me. But just to prove that I've seen red-legged partridges this year, because I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think it may have been the first.
First year.
Yeah, and we spent like 2 hours trying to find a partridge of any description and couldn't.
I had a quick look in those fields after I left you.
Yeah, so it's nice to get that off early. Yeah. And then had a buzzard as well, which was quite nice, circling over and calling. And then obviously stopping at Abberton, one of the great white egrets flew over the causeway, which was quite handy. And then this is just one of the Marsh Harriers from Old Hall this afternoon, nice male, flew across the car park. And then finally, I've got my shots of the red-breasted goose, just to prove that. Is it ringed? I don't think it's ringed. What's happened to his left leg?
Oh, crikey. No,
zoom it in.
That's a bit of dirt. That's not a ring.
I don't think it's ringed.
No, actually, no, there you go. You can see its left leg there. I don't think it's ringed. Couldn't see when we were watching it. So, yeah, it was a fun bird to see, regardless of where it's from. To be fair, it's actually a really smart-looking bird.
Cracking bird.
It doesn't matter whether it's a genuine wild bird or part of a feral population.
No, not to us, not the Big County Birdwatch. They all count on this weekend anyway.
It's a smart bird. Yeah. We have had some pictures from other people as well. So, first of all, if I can get to where they are on my screen, we had an email through from Paul Brayshaw over at Frington. So, thank you, Paul, if you're watching. He's basically said that Frington this morning kind of looked a little bit like this. And if you can see that.
That's what it was like.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know Frington, behind that bench is meant to be the sea. And
the sea view.
Yeah, I think there's just like a bank of fog, basically. So,
and usually wind turbines kind of right in your face.
Yeah. So Paul actually said that there wasn't much migration visible in the mist this morning at Frington. However, he goes on to say, as a general guide, though, this week has seen meadow pipit passage picking up with low 3-figure totals, along with smaller numbers of hirundines, grey and yellow wagtails, the first few skylark, rock pipit, starling goldfinch, chaffinch, etc. There was a good influx of chiffchaff on Wednesday, the 22nd. Very, very few wildfowl or anything moving offshore this week. After the early pulse of Brent came in last Saturday, you had over 550 Brent last Saturday. And then there was over 1,000 on Sunday and another couple of hundred on Monday. So really good influx early in the week, but then nothing much since. So he's saying hopefully this is just a small sample of those to come. And he's hoping for a bit clearer weather over the rest of the weekend. And he's finished with well done and good luck with the BCBW in the talks. So if you're watching, Paul, thanks for that information.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's great. And that is really, really good information because Paul lives out right on the coast at Frington and often reports throughout the year for the Society on what's happening kind of in terms of migrating birds because he gets them coming in kind of onto that coast. Yeah. And so he said there about rock pipit. I had my first rock pipit this last week at East Tilbury. First Goldcrest there kind of just a couple of days ago. And chiffchaff, kind of trees are full of chiffchaff around the fort the other day. Lane and I were looking at picking them out with blackcap as well. And it's amazing how Paul gets these reports and then these birds filter out through the county and trickle through our areas down in the south. And there's a direct relationship to Paul. I've got a question for Paul if you're watching. There was a report from Sandwich Bay this week. I think it was probably Wednesday, Thursday, of 27,000 off the top of my head, certainly in the 20,000s of house martin by something after 10 o'clock in the morning going through. And I was on the same morning at Coalhouse Fort here, which is really, if you take the corridor south, I'm only about 50 miles, maybe kind of even 30, 40 miles from the channel that birds will be taking going down over the Thames. But I didn't have one house mine. I had a steady trickle of swallows. But I saw this report and I wondered whether Paul had anything or anybody on our coast had seen anything like that. Because 20-something thousand, just at once, there were obviously other birds there, but that's a lot of house martins.
I seem to remember last year on the local WhatsApp groups out Frington and that way, that there was a massive movement of house martin all at the same time, and they were trying to work out kind of what the birds are doing and how they're moving through. So it could be this year that's what they've seen just a little bit further down the coast. But I just wanted to really quickly just thank Paul. I've only bumped into him once. I think I've only ever met him over there, but his WhatsApp messages are on my phone every day. You know, he puts reports on the website, which is really important, not just for us to see what's going on, but for the county to be able to record the bird life. And where he's situated, as you said, Steve, he often sees the first passage of things into the county, and he's like a robot basically. He's just reporting everything every morning. Often my phone pings before I'm even awake, and it's Paul's report on there. So just thank you very much. Well done, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
And that's a great shout out as well to those that record regularly for the site. There are names that we see regularly, consistently, weekly. Paul Larkin down my area, and Howard Vaughan. He works for the RSPB, but he's not paid to do the record keeping that he does for the Society and for the East London Bird Club down in Rainham. And if you want somebody to help you and tip you off, help you out as an early bird watcher, then Howard down at the Rainham Reserve is great there and regularly contributes. And again, shout out there to the website. We actually have a kind of a ongoing relay type email account. I've forgotten what the provider is now.
IO groups. You can join and you'll get regular feeds when people put species onto the website that are of interest, and then kind of getting to know, again, free of charge, details with Andrew and on the website of how to join that if you're not already a member. Cool. Well, we need to be cracking on because time's... well, there's got a couple more emails actually from people that have sent them in. So we had an email through from Jane. So I don't know if Jane's watching, Jane Noble, but if she is, hello. And
hello, Jane.
Thanks for sharing your email. And she said, Not the most impressive photo you've ever seen, but this is literally the first bird on her weekend list. View from her kitchen window this morning. So guess what that is. See if anyone can put in the chat what they think the first bird that Jane
That's a good
saw
competition question.
on her list. I won't put the picture up just yet. I'm going to read one more email out. So Tim Hayward sent an email in. Again, thanks, Tim. I think you're watching, so thank you. He's put, my most exciting spot for the day was 3 little stints at Bowers Marsh. Never seen one before and couldn't believe how small they are. They were busy amongst all the widgeon, and I do believe they were small enough to walk underneath them. The name doesn't do them justice. They should be called Tiny Stint or even Diddy Stint.
Yeah,
I like that, Diddy Stint.
that's brilliant.
Yeah,
Well
so
done,
they're
well
great
done
to
saying that.
Yeah, there's a few.
We reckon. What do we reckon that Jane saw on her garden bird table? First bird then.
Starling.
Maybe Sparrowhawk was the first bird I saw on the road today.
Well, it's a similar sort of size to Sparrowhawk, but it was one of these bad boys.
Hey, wood
Eating
pigeon.
the peanuts.
pigeon.
Yeah, wood pigeon. And she
Well
said that the
done.
wood pigeon gets through this amount of peanuts most days, so you can see how many nuts she's got on the table. So to be fair, I'm quite surprised. It's probably why it's always there, because it's probably so fat it can't take off. And it just sits on the table all day waiting for the nuts, I reckon. So yeah, thanks for that, Jane.
Superb.
That's good.
There's a few people seeing stuff on Twitter today. We've got Ollie Cottis. He couldn't get out anywhere far today, but he had to stick with his patch.
Yeah.
And the best bird were little owl, tawny owl, woodcock, and good numbers of skylark, meadow pipits, and jays. Well,
Nice.
that's not a bad start for your local patch, Ollie.
Very good.
Yeah, woodcock's good.
Chaz Holt is one of the ringers at Abberton. He had Pecksand at Abberton today.
Wow.
Um,
So that's 3 different locations in the county.
which is good. Also grey plover, which is quite a good Abberton bird.
Yeah.
Little ring plover, medgull and raven today.
Nice.
And Simon Wood, he did the sort of Malden area today, and he had an osprey earlier. And then
Nice.
Very nice.
he had a few yellow wagtails, white throat, lesser white throat, and 4 corn buntings, which is
Yeah, good.
notable bird nowadays. So yeah, so we've had lots of people out and about today, which is good to hear.
Excellent. So yeah, get back to us. If you're kind of going for a big target this year, you've kind of seen it last year or 2 and have kind of decided, again, Jamie and Pete together, I think they're kind of trying to get kind of over 100. Let us know what totals you've seen and what your targets are for the weekend, or just how you're doing your birding if you're just going out. And also kind of, we were saying, Matt, we like to see kind of pictures from people's own patch.
Yeah.
We, often we bump into people, as I say, Dave Curl this chap came into the hide this morning at Blue House Farm, and then he kept looking at me. It's Steve from the YouTube thing, the TV. You're on TV. And I, we don't know who each other are, because all the time our photographs are birds. But, if you can, then why not put a picture of you in your patch or something like that? And, Elaine and I have got some Flamborough Bird Observatory hats we picked up over our summer holidays. And so we were wearing those this morning. So if you see anybody in a Flamborough Bird Society, a Bird Observatory hat, then that's probably us. We're doing everything to try and bring the albatross that we had the joy of seeing in the summer down to kind of take away Steve and Matt's tears.
Did you say something? I had my hands open.
Nothing. No, just EastEnders. You know where EastEnders is? Where the base is? What square is it?
Oh, okay.
I'll get an albatross at Ardley Reservoir one day. It's going to happen.
Or what species? Again, I was going to ask the guys, what species do you think the starbird's going to be? Obviously, we've had red-breasted goose. But what would be a starbird? And what do you think will be a challenge to see? I wonder whether we're going to see get a turtle dove reported in the county this year. It's kind of iffy time in terms of believing. I know the north of the county there's been some, but sadly, so please look for them, turtle doves. But what else? What do you think kind of are going to be the hit and the misses? What?
I think seabirds might be a bit of an issue this year.
Yeah.
the weather forecast. We've got southwesterlies and southerlies for the next few days, but you never know. You've got to be in it to win it. So it's worth having a look.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a yellow-browed warbler or something, and who knows? It's not quite the right weather to bring them in, but you just don't know. Like Steve said,
you just don't know. The stuff. Birds are on the move. So I think there's always a chance. Never write it off.
Yep.
Well, honey buzzard, say if that was taken today, that's a fantastic record. That's a new for the big county Birdwatch, as far as I recall. Redbreasted Goose.
When we spent the bit of time at Old Hall this afternoon, the numbers of raptors in the air.
Ah,
yeah.
There were serious numbers. So
everywhere you look, there was kestrels and hobbies and buzzards and marsh. Really good.
Yeah, so
just go on, carry on.
I was just going to say, I think raptors. There might be, osprey we spoke about earlier with Simon Wood. There's been ospreys around, so I think a raptor or two might be.
Looks like a bit of a raptor fest weather-wise, doesn't it? That was a shot of a stone chat that Nick Lay saw at Coalhouse Fort tonight. Was that probably juvenile or female bird?
Well, Jamie Thornton has put in the chat. They got to 86 species today, so that's really good.
Very good
total. Well done.
Is that the cue for us to share our numbers as well, Matt?
Well, I don't know yet, because Mo Jackson said she saw 60 species today.
Very
Highlight
good.
was a red-throated diver from Fingering Hoe, which is good.
Very good.
Nice one. Yeah, well done.
It's good. Yeah, Dave Smith reported those on I think it was Wednesday from Fingering Hoe, and I think it's in summer plumage. So,
lovely. Yeah, very nice.
It'll be a good
Stunning
bet.
bird.
Should we do our totals then?
Yeah, go on then.
Have we got them written down? Right.
I've got mine written down.
Okay. Right. 3, 2, 1. 7. Wrong show. Sorry. I was on. Oh, hang on a minute. That didn't work. 75. 93.
How many is yours, Steve? 13.
I've got a bad back. That's my excuse. Well done. So 93 for Steve. So that's a good total. Excellent.
93. Well done, Steve.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, one bad.
That's a good start.
If I do that, do you reckon I can get away with that?
That's good to be.
No, well done,
That's
everyone.
good.
And also, it's a bit of fun, but it's also important because this does give us a snapshot of what's in the county on roughly the same weekend every year, and we can use that data to compare year on year and just see overall trends. And hopefully, it'll encourage people to get more involved with the society as well. And it's not just about this weekend. You can report your sightings from your garden, from your walks, from your patch. If you're a birder, don't forget to put your sightings on Essex Birdwatching Society, please. It's really important. So thanks to everyone who's taking part, and hopefully we'll get some good triple figure totals by the end of the weekend.
Absolutely.
Even if I probably won't get there.
What do you think, Steve? For those of you that don't know, Steve actually works in the bird watching business, so to speak. He's a wildlife guide with swallow birding. And so among us, he's really the one with the expertise birding wise. So how many do you think is a good target for the weather conditions and how things are at the moment, Steve, in terms of what do you think could be a good challenge for people, and what do you think the max could be if somebody's really going for it?
Well, as Andrew said earlier, we've had 115 species recorded today.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
That was a surprise.
No, and I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the dashboard that he was looking at, but I'm not sure. I don't know whether osprey's been reported on our website. So you're looking at maybe 145. I reckon 150 species.
Wow.
Yeah, the weather's. We've seen today that there's a trickle of winter stuff coming in with Brent geese and stuff like that, and then obviously there's still the summer birds knocking around. We've still got wing chats being seen and little stints, and maybe the odd cuckoo. So I think we're on for a good total this year.
Yeah, and I think what's also good for us, like last year, again, we were kind of saying how different the weather was. We were absolutely drenched. I was drenched. I could only see through a telescope. Certainly couldn't see anything from the east side of the, the seawall with the weather. So different this year. But as I read reports right around the county, like Rainham, City of London, effectively on the, metropolitan London, got pectoral sandpipers there. There's been spoonbills there. I saw some really good reports on Walthamstow wetlands because the county goes right into London to the River Lee, and then kind of around the north and the south as well, the Essex marshes. There's good birds everywhere, isn't it? It's not like you want to be at one sea watching point on the east coast, or things can turn up really pretty much anywhere.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
Flogging your local patch, and which is what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, I think. So,
yeah.
What about you, Steve? Where are you going tomorrow, Steve Swinney?
Elaine and I were talking because Elaine wants to try and kind of see if she can get 100 this year. And I said, well, really now we've got a really good start. I said, I got 84. She saw 67 because she only counts the ones that she can really recognise, even though Steve tells her, both Steve G and Steve me, that's as such. And so she wants to know that for herself, which is good, actually. It's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I said either with 84 as a total, we either go twitch mad and just kind of target the ones that we want to get the numbers up, or we just kind of go to a particular place and blitz it and try and really see everything that we can possibly there. I'm inclined to do that, but if we do that, we did talk about, I know we're planning to meet up on Sunday, aren't we? The guys are coming down to the East Tilbury area with me.
Well, depends if I can get any petrol or not, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's a whole other subject.
That's the other subject, yeah. And we're not talking about Wilson's or Storm, but it is a storm. Petrol. But so basically I think we might kind of see if we can do some woodland species tomorrow, and then maybe stay local. We're on tomorrow night on the YouTube at 7 o'clock, so for us guys it limits a bit kind of our travel. We want to get back in good time, but what about you, Matt? What's your plans tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow morning I'm going to do a little bit on the Star. I'm going to meet up with Mark Nowers, actually, from the RSPB, which will be fun. Meeting him nice and early. And
professional assistant, Steve.
Well, don't know about that. I think he'll be able to show me loads and loads of different birds that I probably wouldn't be able to find myself. And hopefully it won't be quite as misty as it was this morning. So fingers crossed we can have a nice walk along there, only for a couple of hours. Now I'm going to carry on, might work up to Rabness, and then probably across to Abberton in the afternoon. So again, just staying fairly local to the Colchester area, really. Yeah.
That sounds good. Any more feedback before we have to wind up? We've got...
Jamie Thornton said he had fantastic views of the goosander from the Laird de la Haye Causeway. I'm not sure if it's the one I saw this morning. There was one, it was a young bird, so presumably the same one. That's quite early, really, I think, to get a goosander through. So that was quite a nice one to pick up. And Tim Hayward said there was an osprey at Fingering Hoe on Tuesday. So there's certainly been a few around. I know there's been a couple on the Star. So again, hopefully Mark or I might be able to pick one out tomorrow, maybe. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think it's all to play for. It's only on day one, so
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we can get to see a lot more people enter their sightings tomorrow and the forthcoming days.
Absolutely, yeah.
What we're going to do tomorrow as well, depending on how many sightings are on the website, we'll either do this tomorrow night or maybe Sunday night. But we're going to look and see which patch is best. So if anyone is putting sightings on, do your local patch, see how many birds you can find. Put them on the BCBW sightings portal, and we'll see whose patch is best. Yeah.
And I think within that, we can kind of break it down a bit as well. Obviously, where I live, I've got East Tilbury with the waders and some, wildfowl and generally do well in those kinds of things. But if you've got a woodland patch, then we'll designate what's the top woodland, site kind of, because you're not going to see a massive variety of birds, but get stuck in there locally, and you never know what you find. Somebody might find a real surprise yet. Might be a honey buzzard, particularly on one of those woodland patches.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just had a message from Ben Rumsby to say they're going to Abberton tomorrow, so he's
might see him there.
I think Ben, you asked whether Old Hall Marshes is open at the weekend. It generally isn't. The car park's closed. You can actually walk onto the site, but you have to walk on from Tolshunt, Darcy, don't you, Steve? You have to park there.
There's two options. You can either park in Tollsbury Village, by the Scout Hut in Tollsbury, and then walk along the seawall, or there's a small amount of parking at Salcott by the church. That's probably the better option, I would say. They're both quite a fair old walk to get onto the reserve, but there's lots to see. So
yeah,
well worth it.
So yeah, if you want to go see that red-breasted goose, then that's the way. But it might turn up at Abberton, might it? Kind of, if it's hanging around with those, or yeah.
And high tide tomorrow is around 4 o'clock or something like that for most of Essex. So nice, good high tide again tomorrow afternoon. So we should be quite good for coastal sites.
So yeah, I think we'll probably be dropping into Rainham, Elaine and myself, tomorrow. See Howard and see if he's got some nice carrot cake set aside for me.
I knew you were going to say the cake.
What?
Missed cake today. That's the problem with old Marsh. She's no cake shop.
Why do you think I'm planning to go to Nays on the last day so I can get the bread pudding? Yeah.
Dave Smith today gave me one of his mini pork pies. So
that's all right then.
Great. Well, it's been great to see you guys tonight, see the people we met out and about. So if you're around Rainham or any of our areas, say hello and introduce yourself. Great to and just the birders that are around as well. Share news and your sightings and the camaraderie that we have in the society. And get your pictures through and news to the email address. We'll be monitoring that over the next 24 hours, and we'll see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yep.
And we got there, kind of a little bit of a dodgy start, but it's been good, hey?
It won't happen tomorrow, hopefully.
And we've just about made it in the hour. We said we're just going to do an hour.
Yeah.
Keep it tight. So
what people don't know is that, you probably do know actually from the start of tonight. We've been out all day birding, all three of us, and then we rushed.
What time did you guys get home?
Get stuck in traffic and trying to work out pictures and checking emails, and it was literally about 2 minutes to 8, and we're nowhere near ready, and we're going, oh my goodness. So yes, it's quite good fun, and then we kind of press the button and there we are. So hopefully it'll be a little bit smoother at the beginning tomorrow, fingers crossed, but apologies again for that.
I've got half a Chinese meal around here somewhere. I've got to finish.
And to be fair, in our defence, this time last year we'd never done anything like this.
Hey, what a year! We started out just kind of. Let's just kind of share some news and see what happens. There we go.
Yeah,
Here we
cool.
are. So,
And now, as Dave Cole says, we're TV superstars.
Don't forget, you get exciting. nebws.talks@gmail.com, Twitter and Facebook. Please
See you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.
yep, take it easy.
Thank you.
Good
Take care,
birding.
everyone. Happy birding.
Bye-bye.